It looked like the ESPN reporter has just dropped some major information about Caitlin Clark and everybody in the WNBA 2026 season. Guys, we got to talk about that.
An ESPN reporter has just unleashed an absolute earthquake of a story. Information so serious it could blow up the entire 2026 WNBA season as we know it. We are standing inches from a full-scale disaster. The league's collective bargaining agreement expires tonight at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Sharp, and the countdown is hitting zero with no deal anywhere in sight. Sources say the two sides can't agree on a single thing. Think about what that really means. All the incredible momentum Caitlin Clark has created, the surge of excitement that's lifted the entire sport, could be wiped out overnight if the owners allow a lockout to happen. The Caitlin Clark effect wasn't just hype. It brought millions of brand new fans, shattered ratings records, and filled arenas nationwide. And now the league is just steps away from throwing all of that away over ego, stubbornness, and a fight over money.
Apologizing? You make decisions, marketing. I want people watching. I want eyeballs. I want advertising dollars. Why? Because he'll get paid. Y'all will get paid. And guess who else will get paid? You see where I'm coming from? That's what it's about. Stop acting otherwise. We know this. You don't sit up there and pass on Caitlin Clark. It was.
So let me ask you straight up. Do you honestly believe the WNBA is about to trigger a lockout and destroy everything Caitlin Clark built over the last year? Tell me in the comments. Because ESPN's Alexa Filippo has just laid out the nightmare scenarios staring the league in the face as this CBA creeps towards expiration. That deadline, 11:59 p.m. tonight, is only hours away, which is why the tension is sky high. The possible outcomes go from bad to catastrophic, and every single one threatens to derail the historic momentum Clark has created. Filippo broke down 4 potential paths. The first, a simple extension agreed on by both sides. That would allow the season to move forward while negotiations continue. But let's be real, if an extension were going to happen, it would have been done already. The silence tells a story, nobody's budging. Owners are refusing to move, and players are done accepting scraps. Scenario 2, no extension, but the league enters a status quo period, meaning all existing rules stay in place while talks continue. This avoids an immediate stoppage, but it solves absolutely nothing. It's a band-aid slapped on a bullet wound. Scenario 3, the worst-case scenario, a work stoppage. Either a strike by players, or far more likely a lockout by the owners. This is the nuclear outcome that kills the Caitlin Clark effect instantly and could set the sport back 10 years. New fans won't wait around. If they turn on the TV in 2026 and find empty arenas and canceled games, they're gone for good. The fourth scenario is a last-minute miracle, a brand new CBA before midnight. Filippo made one thing very clear: this is basically fantasy. With the gap between the two sides this massive, there's no way to pull off a full agreement in a few hours. And this all becomes even more complicated because the WNBA has immovable deadlines coming up. There's a 2-team expansion draft for the Portland Fire and Toronto Tempo. Those organizations paid huge fees expecting to play basketball. What happens to their massive investment if there's a stoppage? And on top of that, nearly every veteran in the league hits free agency this offseason. It was supposed to be one of the biggest, most exciting off-seasons ever. But without a CBA, nothing can happen. No contracts, no trades, no roster moves. The entire league freezes.
Are we ready to admit the Caitlin Clark effect? Is this happening without Caitlin Clark? Without the popularity? Because we've seen what happened to the ratings when she was out for those 2-3 weeks. Remember that, right? Don't let me bring that up. Don't let me get some receipts now. When Caitlin Clark was out, the WNBA's popularity dissipated. That is a fact. Ticket prices, television ratings, it's a fact. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. That's not to throw shade on a product and act like it doesn't grow at all. It's not to say that there wasn't improvement and there wasn't an elevation in its popularity. It's just saying that it's on another dimension when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Do you know what the best thing that could happen for the WNBA is right now? Are you ready for this? If Caitlin Clark and the Fever win the championship. If that girl won the championship.
This raises a question so massive, so urgent, that even the most experienced insiders, people who have covered the WNBA for years, people who normally stay calm during chaos, are now openly admitting they're nervous. It's a question that cuts right to the core of the league's future, a question that nobody seems able to answer with confidence. And the question is this: What happens to the WNBA draft if a lockout actually hits? This isn't some minor procedural issue. This isn't just a forgotten detail that can be sorted out later. This is the kind of structural dilemma that shakes the league at its foundation. Start with the lottery. Does it even take place? Do the teams gather as usual to determine who gets the top picks, or is that entire event suspended until the labor battle ends? The lottery is supposed to be the moment of hope, the moment struggling franchises look forward to because it gives them a chance to draft the next superstar. But if the league enters a freeze, how can something so crucial still move forward? And even if the lottery does happen, the next question hits even harder. Can the WNBA hold a draft at all? Is it even legal, let alone practical, to let teams select the top college talent when those same players might not be able to sign their contracts, report to training camp, or even set foot inside the facilities of the teams that drafted them? Imagine a draft class loaded with generational talent, the kind of players who could reshape the league for the next decade, being thrown into limbo because nothing can be finalized. Think of all the athletes dreaming about that moment, walking across the stage, shaking the commissioner's hand, holding up their team jersey for the first time. All of it could vanish in an instant if a lockout slams the league shut. And that's just the start. The real damage caused by work stoppage goes so much deeper than missing a few games on the schedule. People underestimate how intertwined every part of the WNBA ecosystem is. When one piece locks up, everything else seizes with it. A lockout doesn't just pause basketball. It freezes scouting departments. It halts roster construction. It disrupts marketing deals, local sponsorships, TV programming, and the league's entire off-season infrastructure. The ripple effect is massive. When operations stop at the top, they stop everywhere. Think about the teams preparing for the draft right now. Their scouts have spent the entire year tracking prospects, flying across the country, studying film, compiling data, and building draft boards. Front offices have been mapping out their long-term strategies, who they want, who fits their system, and how certain players could transform their franchise. All that planning collapses if a lockout hits. How do you evaluate talent when you don't even know if that talent will be allowed to join your team? How do you build for the future when the future itself is on hold? And let's talk about the college players. These are young women who have spent their entire lives dreaming of being drafted, training relentlessly for that single night. Many of them are on the brink of becoming household names. They're preparing for the biggest moment of their careers. And yet, if the league locks out, they might find themselves stuck in a black hole, unable to sign, unable to train with their new teams, unable to begin their professional careers. The uncertainty alone could be devastating. For some, it could even affect whether they return to school, declare for the draft, or delay entering the league altogether. Then there's the agents. Their entire job revolves around negotiating contracts, securing endorsements, and ensuring their clients have a stable path forward. But during a lockout, they could do none of that. They're left with a growing list of players who are technically draft eligible, but functionally stranded. Every email, every phone call, every plan becomes a dead end. Team staff and league employees also face chaos. Draft events require coordination, venues, production teams, media partners, and countless behind-the-scenes workers who rely on these events for income. A lockout instantly places their jobs and responsibilities in jeopardy. And you can't ignore the fans, especially the new ones. The draft is one of the biggest gateways to fandom. It's where stories begin, where excitement builds, where the next wave of stars gets introduced to the world. If that entire moment disappears or turns into a confusing mess of temporary rules and restrictions, fans lose trust. They lose interest. They look elsewhere. All of this reveals a deeper truth. A lockout doesn't damage the WNBA in just one area. It infects every corner of the league's operations. It dismantles the system piece by piece, from executives making decisions to the players waiting for their first contract. It is a full-scale breakdown of the machinery that keeps professional basketball running. And the most alarming part? The talent pipeline, the lifeblood of any sports league, is put at immediate risk. The WNBA relies on fresh talent every single year to keep the product exciting, competitive, and evolving. If that flow gets disrupted even for one season, the long-term consequences could stretch on for years. Missed development, lost opportunities, delayed careers, prospects who never materialize, superstars who change paths entirely. It's a kind of ripple effect that can reshape the league's future, and not in a good way. A lockout doesn't just stop basketball. It stops dreams. It stops growth. It stops momentum. It stops the evolution of the league. And that is why this question, what happens to the draft if the WNBA locks out, is far more than a scheduling issue. It is a crisis that could set off a chain reaction throughout the entire sport. The league isn't just risking a season. It's risking the future of its next generation.
Because this is the most popular women's basketball player in the world. And it ain't close. They had to move the Mystic game to an NBA arena. Name the time and I'm going to turn it over to you because I don't want to get long-winded. I want somebody, one of our women colleagues, Stephen A., to tell me when a WNBA game has had to be moved because of a woman player. Just one. Just tell me one. Because I know in her attendance, she's averaging about 17,000. All the other WNBA games in which she's not a participant average about 7. So are we really trying to go the game? Is that what we're really trying to do? Or are we just talking about we're trying to grow the game and just bull-jiving?
Now let's talk about what this means specifically for Caitlin Clark. Because the harsh truth is simple. She is the reason millions of casual viewers even discovered the WNBA. She delivered TV numbers the league hadn't seen in decades. She sold out arenas everywhere she went. She made women's basketball appointment viewing for fans who had never watched it before. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, measurable, massive, and incredibly valuable. But momentum like this is fragile. These new fans aren't diehards. They showed up because Clark is electric and the games finally felt big. If those same fans expect to watch her in 2026 but instead get a canceled season because owners and players are fighting over revenue, they will walk away and they won't come back. Owners are delusional if they think new fans will sit around waiting for negotiations to finish. Modern sports fans move quickly. The WNBA finally broke through into mainstream culture, and the owners are about to throw that breakthrough into the fire. And here's what makes it even more maddening. The WNBA was finally making money. After decades of operating at a loss, the Caitlin Clark explosion changed everything overnight. Ratings skyrocketed. Merch sales blew up. Tickets were impossible to get. Corporate sponsors rushed in. And instead of building on that momentum, the owners are risking everything by refusing to share that revenue with the players who created it. It's short-sighted greed that could permanently kill the Golden Goose. The timing is also disastrous because rival leagues like Unrivaled Basketball are lurking, ready to scoop up WNBA talent. They offer better pay, better conditions, and shorter seasons. If the W locks out its players, Unrivaled will be waiting with open arms and big checks. If star players sign elsewhere, will they even return after the lockout ends? The entire competitive landscape could change overnight. The expansion situation makes everything worse. Portland and Toronto paid huge fees based on the league's growth. Growth fueled almost entirely by Clark. Those cities built their plans around 2026 basketball. Now they might not even get a season. Their fans deserve better. And while both sides share blame, the players' frustration is understandable. They've been massively underpaid for years. They've flown commercial, played in small gyms, spent off seasons overseas just to make enough money to live. Now the league is finally profitable and they want their fair share, which is basic economics. But here's the dangerous tightrope. If a lockout happens, the players risk destroying the very momentum that made their labor more valuable in the first place. The Caitlin Clark effect will not survive a canceled season. Casual fans won't return. The players might win contract terms, but lose the league's future. That 30-day extension was supposed to force compromise, but instead it created a game of chicken. And Caitlin Clark? She can only wait. She has no power in these negotiations. She'll be fine. Her brand and endorsements are huge, but the WNBA might not survive. The league needs Clark far more than Clark needs the league. The owners are playing with fire. The CBA expires tonight. If this season is wiped out, the momentum dies permanently. Caitlin Clark's 2026 could be wasted because the league won't get out of its own way. Will they fix this in time or let everything burn down? Comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.